Yo, people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for All You Can Eat Chelsea. Big up your damn selves. Apologies for the lateness. I had a little phone call that just overran, but it was a very important phone call for the Big Six. I had to book something very special for you guys. We've got some more content coming, but listen, let's get straight into this, man. Let's not waste any time. Miz, big up your damn self, brother. How are you feeling? How you doing?
Good, bro. Good. Off the back of last week's show, there was a whole heap of Brighton Twitter went off at me. They did not appreciate anything I said, and I was getting dragged across Brighton football Twitter by their very big podcasters and a whole heap of big accounts from Brighton. But I enjoyed it because I muted them straight away, so I didn't see any of the views or anything like that. So I kept myself quite okay. But nah, man, it's been quite a fun week, bro, since last week.
I knew that would happen.
It was inevitable.
He was like, "You better know your place, you small, insignificant club."
It was last week.
I was like, "Oh god!"
It's what you said, man. That got everyone in stitches. You know, you can't wait to shit on everyone.
And not just that, in my watch along, I remember when we scored the fourth goal, I did a celebration where I went, and that went around the whole Brighton community as well. So
there was a Brighton page that shared it. I don't know if it was Brighton Bubble or it was a Brighton journalist or something.
That Brighton journalist, Ryan, something like
that's what
nearly 100K, and then he DM'd me saying, "Oh, I didn't want you to get all the abuse."
Because you know what? So I saw the thread right before I continued the introductions. I saw the thread, and you were tweeting something else, and then he came into your comment section. He was like, "I'm so sorry for what you're about to receive." And you were like, "What?" And you were like, "What?" But I had already seen the post. I was like, "I know exactly what you mean."
I didn't know what was going on because I woke up the day after, and I'm like, whatever, like I don't know what was happening, right? And then I see this guy saying to me, "I'm sorry if you're getting any abuse," and I'm like, "What are you talking about, bro? What are you on about?" And then later on in the day, people started like tagging me on all Brighton posts, and then I started seeing, okay, and then I just went around muting everyone. So
they didn't appreciate that we will jizz all over you.
Yeah, they did not like that at all.
Younes, brother, talk to me. How are you feeling? How are you doing? Good to be back.
Yeah, man, good to be back. I'm good, man. I'm good. It's just antics that I'm sure all of us have kept up to date with. And the madness, it continues. So yeah, overall, I'm good.
Yeah, lovely stuff. And Drogbaba, good to be back. Good to see you back again. We missed you last week. It was an absolute, I don't know what it was last week.
It was 1:30 in the morning when you guys started over there. So I caught the whole thing in the morning, and I was laughing. I was in the loo and I was laughing watching it, and my missus was like, "What happened? Are you okay in there?"
It's madness.
It's madness. I mean, frustrating if you're a Chelsea fan right now to see what is Brighton up to, and hopefully we can get that deal over the line. I don't know what's next regarding Caicedo, Lavia. I will discuss this, but all in all, good. Pretty happy to see what we're doing so far in the preseason. Nicholas Jackson, finally we have a striker who knows how to finish, who knows how to put the ball in the back of the net. So looking at those small positives, and just feeling all right for the moment.
We're gonna get into it because big up everybody in the chat. I mean, the preseason games, I think on the whole you could say it's going quite well. There's definitely some concerns, some little worries here and there that need to be addressed. But I think the first topic is got to be the left backs, because that was basically, I mean, I want to say on the goal we conceded, Enzo was bypassed like as if he was a ghost. And it's the same for another moment really early in that game as well. So Enzo, listen, it was his first start, so I was kind of lenient on him in my review, but he can't be getting bypassed like that. And it just only amplifies again why we need Caicedo. We need someone to come in, because Enzo is people used to give Jorginho shit. Enzo is not an enforcer. Do you know what I mean? That's just not him at all. And then you look at, Cucurella stepping up, and obviously Kepa. It seems like Pochettino is happy with Kepa in goal. That's probably my first disagreement with Poch since he's come in, is the fact that he's actually happy with Kepa in goal. So we'll get to that. But left backs, I mean, we'll start with you, Miz, bro. We got Cucurella, we got Chilwell, and then we've got Lewis Hall, who we saw 0 minutes from against Newcastle, who, I don't know, maybe he's in the Angelo group alone now. I don't know how you feel about that. We saw him a lot last season. He was pretty impressive. And then we've got Ian Maatsen, who he's a left back, but he sure ain't playing like one. He's gone right wing and he's assisting and he's scoring, and I don't know what's going on there. So how do you feel about the situation?
Yeah, it's firstly, I really liked how Pochettino came out post-match and was just brutally honest. He's like, I'm sorry, some of these players are going to have to leave because we've got too much in certain positions, and in some positions we don't have enough. And we want to trim the squad down to 20, 23, 24, max 25. And some people are going to get hurt. And I think it's potentially going to be Lewis Hall. For him to not feature in the last game at all, I guess where are you going to feature as well? Like we've got Cucurella, we've got Chilwell. They need minutes, and they're the starting left backs. Whether we like it or not, that's a different story, and we'll get to that. But you know, they're the seniors, and then Maatsen is there as well. So with Lewis Hall, and look, he's not going to get an opportunity in midfield. You know, we're looking at getting someone like Caicedo, whoever else it is. Then you've got Caicedo and Santos and Enzo Fernandez. So you're not going to get an opportunity in midfield either. And Gallagher is still around, right? So it looks like Lewis Hall is going to go out on a loan. I know this sounds harsh because he had a really good end of last season, producing quite a lot of high quality, opportunities where people like Havertz couldn't finish and some other people as well couldn't finish. I didn't want Hall to stick around this season if he was just going to be penciled down to be in the bench and not get enough minutes and not start. I think it's wise for him to go out on a loan, get regular minutes, really stamp his authority wherever he goes. And then next season, preseason, we start talking about him as he's got to be considered. Now, the question is, I'm not even sure what's his position. Like, is he going to go out on a loan and be a left back somewhere else? Or is he going to go out on a loan and be a midfielder? So that's up for debate. With the other three, I think Ian Maatsen, now we've seen this guy's more than just a left back. This guy is a left winger, left mid, left wing back. Now he can play on the right, tucked in as a right mid. I think there is value in someone like Ian Maatsen, and I think Pochettino sees that. He can be plugged in pretty much anywhere. We saw that lovely assist from him to Nicholas Jackson from midfield. So you can sort of bank him on being a midfielder as well. I think he's got the technicality to be a midfielder. So Ian Maatsen stays. And then you've got the two left backs, Chilwell and Cucurella. I think this season will be one of those players' penultimate season, I reckon. Like one of those players are going to have to stand up and put their hand up and say, this is my spot. And then the other one potentially next season will have to leave. So if it's Cucurella, who seems to have good games, but then has that one mistake, that one lethal mistake that will lead to a goal, if he continues that way, he's going to get knocked out and he's going to have to leave next season. And if Chilwell, if it takes time to build up and he's still underwhelming, and then God knows if he's going to stay fit. Like we've seen Chilwell now, every time he comes into gear, he tends to get injured again. So Matisse, my summary would be Hall goes out on a loan, Maatsen stays as versatility, Cucurella and Chilwell sticks around as left back options.
What about you, Younes? Because I'm not gonna lie, I'm this close to doing a madness and just saying, bruv, Atletico Madrid. How much you want to pay for Cucurella? Genuinely.
Wow.
I'm getting there, man.
Matisse, what happened, bro? The one season. You gotta give.
I know, but we only gave Koulibaly one season, bro. I think Lewis Hall, and maybe people will disagree, but I think Lewis Hall and Maatsen can be better than Chilwell and Cucurella. If
Probably,
Chilwell didn't
yeah.
sign that new deal and people were still looking at him as well, I'm not gonna lie, I probably would flog the both of them and keep Maatsen and Hall. I'm that mad. I'm that sick in the head, bro.
I was gonna say, like,
I think I'd flog them both. I'm not gonna lie. I don't give a shit.
I think with Chilwell, I think it's a bit different. I think Chilwell has scope to be a top left back. Obviously, there's work. He's not perfect. However, yeah, Cucurella is the one that's for me. And I advocated to bring him to Chelsea in the first place. I was like, yo, this guy at Brighton's killing it. Fantastic. Get him. We need cover for left back. Cucurella's the guy. Cucurella shows up and this is what happens. I have to say overall I'm disappointed because we all know offensively he does well. But yeah, man, the way that he always gets caught out, he leaves space in behind. He's not tight enough. These are things that are going to hit us in the Premier League. And just like we had that goal that we conceded against Newcastle, that is what could happen week in, week out if we had a Cucurella left back for us, and we'd probably lose points because of it. You know, you concede, therefore you don't win, therefore you drop points, and it's just because of that. It's just not it's not good enough. So overall, I have to say the fact that we have the initial concern of Cucurella coming in was because we needed cover. Now, if we do have Ian Maatsen, at the moment, I wouldn't be surprised if he can play in goal. The guy can play every single position on the pitch, it seems. So he's versatile as hell. That's great to have as cover. You know, if we ever need to stick him left back, we could. If we need to stick him left wing or right wing, we could. Like, it's great to have someone like that. And Lewis Hall is also an option that we know doesn't disappoint us. Inexperienced, yes, and is getting, you know, up to scratch and has played a good amount of minutes in terms of the first team and trying to get that experience up. But in terms of cover, I think now that is enough compared to before where we didn't have anybody. So, yeah, if it came to it, I wouldn't be against selling Cucurella because right now we got to be ruthless. Pochettino said it himself about who is really going to make it into the squad, who's going to be good enough. It's not personal, but if you're not good enough, it is what it is. If anyone wants to put in a transfer request, they can. Great, that's perfect. We'll let you go, no problem. And anyone that wants to fight, well, cool. But if you're not in the team, it's because you're not being good enough. Simple as that. So I agree with that sentiment from Poch. And yeah, right now, Cucurella is just not going to be playing in the starting 11. So I wouldn't be against selling and getting money. I wouldn't be against it.
Yeah, it's very expensive depth. But I mean, I guess if it only lasts a season, Bubba, then you give them the opportunity to fight for their place. And I do get where Miz come from about giving Lewis Hall regular first team minutes because it feels like as if he's starting again in this preseason, like he's starting from scratch. Now, in a lot of Chelsea fans' minds, he shouldn't be starting from scratch because he's already shown us what he can do last season. I'm not saying he was perfect. You know, defensively, he'd still have to work on his game. But going forward, the guy's crossing and chance creation was right up there at the top of the team. Shooting, cool, it's not there, but you know, we're the only team that actually seem to want our fullbacks to shoot. I don't see Ben White shooting, Carl Walker having to shoot. You know, I don't know why our fullbacks need to shoot. It's probably because we've not been scoring goals over the last few years. If we just kept them in the width of the pitch, then they wouldn't be in goal-scoring positions. But what's your take on this left-back situation?
Cucurella has been disappointing. I mean, you have covered most of it. Just to add to Cucurella point, he reminds me a lot. I mean, I wouldn't compare him to him, but he's a lot like David Luiz. I mean, he would be good, but will have that brain fart moment in the 90 minutes that he'll play, and that would cost us the game or something. If we are up 2-0, 3-0, then he can showboat. He can show us those technical qualities that he has. But if we are to play a really strong opposition, and if he does those mistakes, which Younes said could cost us some crucial points in the league. So Chilwell, again, what I personally think is the last season, what the whole squad went through has put a dent on everyone's psyche. So it will take some time for that to, you know, rub off and for us to get out of that. And the work is on, but I won't be so harsh on Chilwell right now that I would let him go. I would definitely trust him right now. He has been a good player for us, especially in that Champions League campaign. He was really good. And before he got injured, the previous the season after we won the Champions League, he was really good for us. Last season, I won't judge any player on last season's performance because the whole team was shit, to be honest. No one really bothered if we would lose or win games. So last season is not the right parameter to judge players. Cucurella again, he is committing those silly mistakes, but for me, it's his last season, to be honest, because if we want to be where we want to be, we can't have these players who commit such silly mistakes every time they're on the pitch. So yeah, we've got players like Maatsen, Lewis Hall, might as well develop those players. Take a look at Cucurella this season. We've sold how many? 3,500 players we've sold already this season. So I don't think so that Cucurella and Chilwell will go anywhere right now. So
safe to say we balanced the books.
We've balanced the books. So I would give them this season. I agree with Miss. Lewis Hall might go on loan. Definitely have to keep Maatsen. I really like him. And yeah, Chilwell and Cucurella will be our left back options.
Like, a lot of people feel like I might be being harsh with Cucurella. I don't know, but if Humphreys was to make the mistake that Cucurella made for the goal, people would be like, "You're not ready. You need to go out on loan." Like that's how bad the mistake was. It was childish. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Now, the thing is with Cucurella, I have to hold him up to a higher standard defensively because he can't attack. He can't cross. He doesn't underlap. He doesn't shoot. He doesn't overlap. So he doesn't support Mudryk going forward, right? He's going to tuck in. He's going to play that pass. Wonderful assist in the game before with that pass cutting through the middle. But he's going to tuck in. People are saying he's going to tuck in as a more defensive-minded fullback, like an Azpilicueta under Jose Mourinho when Felipe Luis was on the bench. But Azpilicueta was absolutely perfect defensively. So you didn't need him to do anything going forward at left back because he was just defensively. He was the best 1v1 defender in the world at that point, or at least in the league. So that's what Cucurella almost needs to be. If he's not going to do anything going forward, he has to be perfect defensively. He can't be making these mistakes. And the thing is with him, it's not like him stepping out is something new. That's what he does. He does that often. He gets caught out like that often. So Cucurella can be good for a decent portion of the game, but you can't be making those mistakes because if you're not for me, if you're not going forward, then you are even more got to be focused defensively. Like that's the trade-off for me because otherwise, what are we doing?
I hear what you're saying, Matisse, when you say, and it's starting to make a lot more sense now when you said you'd be okay to get rid of Cucurella, and I want to see what Younes says about this as well, because both Younes and I were very excited about Cucurella when he was announced for Chelsea, and we've got him. One of the reasons I was really excited about Cucurella, remembering the moments from Brighton, is because of his ability to play those line-breaking passes from the left. Like he would whip one of those across the field along the ground, and he'll break the lines of the opposition, and then find those passes. I think we don't need to worry too much about that now because of Levi Colwill, because Levi Colwill does that, and I think this is another reason why Brighton asked for Levi Colwill last season when we got Cucurella from them, because they wanted to find a similar sort of ball-playing ability sort of player in the back, and that's what they got with Levi Colwill. And this is why,
let's be honest, Colwill's better because he can do it in the air as well.
Not just in the air. His defensive unit, like he can defend. Do you know what I mean? So he's all of what we want Cucurella to do with the ball, but better. But at the same time, defensively, he's far more astute. So it's like right now, we don't, probably Cucurella's profile is maybe surplus to requirements, because what Chilwell gives us is at least he'll bomb forward. Sometimes he's the furthest player up front, Chilwell. Sometimes he's in the half spaces. Sometimes he's underlapping. Chilwell gives us something different. He doesn't give us that ball playing ability from the back, but he gives us from an attacking standpoint something different. Chilwell still needs to get better with his deliveries, with his crosses, but I think that will get better as his fitness gets better. But I hear what you're saying, Matisse, that maybe he is surplus to requirements.
I just think we just got a lot of players in the position, so somebody's got to go. That's why it's a debate, really. Like I'm not even here to say, oh, Cucurella's can't be a good player or anything. That's clearly not the case. I definitely think we've overpaid 100%. Like he's not worth 62 million. But someone's got to go in this position. And to be honest, I'm not entirely happy that it's going to be the two players that for me have showed the best technical ability out of the four, which is the two young ones. Because you could say that Lewis Hall can invert, you could say he can overlap. You can't say that about Chilwell or Cucurella. And Maatsen's playing all positions, so he's definitely technically for me, you know, more versatile and a more well-rounded footballer than the other two as well. So I don't know.
I think with Cucurella, I think there's one point, and I don't know if this is the case. This is just my theory. I think there's a situation where I don't quite know if he's adapted to the urgency and intensity that's needed at Chelsea compared to Brighton, because I think he has the right intentions. I think he almost knows in his head what he's trying to do, but I don't think he can keep up. What I mean by that is we're comparing like him and what he's doing at left back compared to what Colwell's doing at centre back. But if we put Cucurella at centre back position in a back three, and he doesn't need to go forward, he actually defends quite well. We've seen him play in the left centre back role in a back three, and he was quite effective. You know, when he doesn't need to actually bomb forward and he just stays back, that's fine. But when he's at left back or he's at left wing back, well, but we'll talk left back because left wing back, you have more license. But if we're talking left back, to be able to balance that, it's not like when he was at Brighton. I think at Chelsea, regardless of the way that we've been playing in our league position and whatnot, but at Chelsea, it has to be the next level. And it's a little bit quicker and it's a little bit more demanding and it's a little bit more intense. And I just don't know if he can get himself to adapt to that level. That's my genuine thing in terms of balancing the offensive part and the defensive part and doing both effectively at the pace that's required. Because that's where we see him always get caught out. It's no surprise he's always getting caught out. Whereas at Brighton, you could say he was protected. That's one, but he never really got caught out. Do you know what I mean? And they have to ask why. So this is where I have to talk about the levels and whether he's, you know, really up there in terms of being able to balance both parts of the game. Because if we're talking left centre back and just him defending without having to go forward, he can do that quite well. But if you just tell him to go forward and he doesn't have to defend, I think he'll do that quite well. But trying to get both together, it's a weird one. It's a weird one. And he's not doing it right.
The issue we're having with this window under Tuchel is that we sacked Tuchel. You know what I mean? Like, not only did we have that window under him, but we also sacked him so quickly that why would you bring in players for him if you're going to get rid of him? Like, I think Aubameyang played one game under him. So it's
56 minutes.
Yeah, 56 minutes. So it's very difficult to judge how those players would have been for him in his system, as opposed to how they are now under 2-3 managers later. Because really, they were meant to be for Tuchel. That's the whole point of bringing them in. So, because otherwise, we if we're going to play a back four, maybe we would have had a different outlook on what type of fullback we needed. So yeah, it's a little bit of a mess. But this is why you can't keep chopping and changing managers. Let's go through some of this Brighton chat here. We've got heard a prison break is due in Brighton. You're talking about Caicedo. A lot of people are talking about Caicedo actually. In these comments. Big up, boys. We all want Caicedo, but when was the last time Brighton sold a player that did well elsewhere? Argentine Alan Varela next to Enzo could be a good alternative. Is he? I think he's at was he Boca Juniors player? But I'm pretty sure he's been linked with Benfica. I don't know if that deal's gone through, but I'm pretty sure I saw Benfica were
might as well buy him now rather than paying 120 million to Benfica again. If he's going there, buy him now only.
So yeah, I'm not sure what's happening with that deal, Chelsea Empire. Let me know in the chat if I think he's going to Benfica. Ty was right. De Zerbi is a nobody, and I hope Brighton get relegated. That's a great clip. I should have used that, man. They probably would have got a copyright strike. Love from LA. Absolutely love what you guys do. Big up, brother. Big up. So yeah, I mean the fullbacks. I mean, I think it's pretty clear, like you said, though. Lewis Hall's probably going to go out on loan, whether we like it or not. It also looks like Angelo's going to go out on loan, whether we like it or not, because he didn't play at all in the game against Newcastle. But I'm trying to soften the blow by the fact that Maatsen played, and Maatsen was really good again. I mean, him at right wing and left wing, because he scored the 2 goals. I think that's got to be probably where he plays now. Next season, he's just got to go down as a winger, because why not? Do you know what I mean? Why not? If we got 2 left back senior guys that it's really difficult to dislodge, and there's maybe some politics involved as well, then may as well put Ian Maatsen on the flanks. Would you guys? Is he playing into a starting lineup where he plays out wide against Liverpool? Or is it too soon to do that?
Maatsen?
Yeah,
for sure.
I think he starts, Matisse. Like, if he continues this way, you know what really impressed me? Not only his ability to be very wide, either flanks, and we saw the goals against Wrexham, right? And I know a lot of people talk about that was Wrexham, but look, forget about that was Wrexham. Just see where he positions himself, his IQ, his footballing IQ. I got really impressed by him against Newcastle, where he started playing in the half spaces. Like, he sort of tucked in. He wasn't always the widest guy on the right side. He was tucking in. And most of the times he would have his back against the defender. The goal that Jackson scored, it was Caicedo with a nice ball through the middle of the Newcastle midfield line. And Maatsen had his back against the defender. He picks the ball, turns, looks up, release. That, for me, is more than a left back, man. Like, that's not left back quality. That's you're now playing like a midfielder, like a genuine technical midfielder that has the ability to receive, turn, and pass all in the same motion. So, for me, this guy, like, wherever you want him, I think he's and he seems to have a bit of engine in him as well. Like, he just keeps running and pressing well. Got good recovery pace as well. So, yeah, man, I think it would be mad if Pochettino doesn't contemplate starting him against Liverpool off the back of the first 3 matches.
There's a perfect opening as well in that position, because I think everyone had the anticipation that Sterling would probably be the first name on the list, but now everyone's like, yo, this guy looks lost. He looks lost, man. And then when you see the rise of Maatsen, and you have Angelo, who I think the original plan before he even put on a Chelsea top was for him to go on loan, and hence why they're probably just pursuing with that. Moreira's quite raw. Madueke isn't the finished article, but he'll be an option. And if he's an option, then it means that he's not going to be playing every single game. There's chance for rotation. There's chance for good game time on the right-hand side.
Yeah.
Maatsen has a big opportunity here to show, what he's capable of, and so far he's done that. And we never thought we'd say that. Who thought we would come on and say, "Yeah, no, Maatsen right wing"? That was in no one's plans. No one. But Pod's tried it, and it's worked like a charm. Just like it, it's like he moved him out progressively. We started left wing in that first preseason game. Eventually moved him off to right wing, and now that's worked. And it's guys, okay, what other positions can this guy do? So, I'm looking. Can he play DM?
Bro, can you imagine?
In DM.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Oh my days!
It's a big opportunity for him. So I reckon, yes, the chances now are definitely up there for Maatsen to play. If we got Mudryk on one side, have Maatsen on the other, and I think he'll do a job.
It's funny, right? Because he's calling for a lot of experience, but it's the young players that are probably impressing the most, and it's the experienced players that I'm like, not very impressive. Where at least when it comes down to performing to the level expected. But I mean, Bubba, what do you make of the Sterling situation? Because we didn't get to see you last week actually. So we've had now quite a few preseason games of Sterling, and people are starting to lose their rag a little bit with this man.
He has always been playing on the left throughout his career, but right now Mudryk looks very sharp. So I would really want him to start all the games for the initial part of the season at least. I don't know what will happen if we were to sign one of those three, Kudus, Cherki and Olise. I don't know. We won't sign all three. We would sign, I'm assuming we would sign one of those.
Yeah.
So looks like Kudus at the moment. I don't know what will happen. What happened to Cherki, by the way? We were linked so strongly.
Leon doesn't want to sell him.
Okay. Yeah. So if one of those players were to come in, then it would be interesting how Poch will use those players. I'm pretty sure that one of those players goes straight right onto the right hand side. Madueke, it's a shame he got injured with the hamstring. Would have loved to see him in the preseason. So it would have created a lot of problem for Sterling to make him a starter in this team. because he's a big name, highest paid player right now, has the most experience of winning the Premier Leagues. Might work in his favor, but his performances are doing him no favor whatsoever. Initially, I believe that Maatsen has to start. I agree with you, but I think he will start with Sterling on the right hand side.
I think he
Maybe
will as well.
yeah, he will start with Sterling. He will give him those 4-5 games, and these initial 4-5 games would be very important for Sterling to prove his worth, because he knows that competition is already there. Maatsen, we are not letting go of. We'll get another that attacking midfielder / right winger player, maybe Kudus or Olise. I don't know who will be there. So yeah, it would be difficult for him. Or if Mudrik was not to perform, then obviously he comes in on the left hand side. We thought that we would get a right winger, and Madueke and Mudrik would be the backups to both the people, because Sterling we thought would be starting by default all the games on the left hand side, but his performances have been awful to be honest. So I think he would start the games on the right hand side, but the clock is ticking. Definitely, the jury is out.
Yeah, do you know what it is for me as well? It's like with Sterling. I mean, we're gonna go through that window. Actually, is anybody confident that there's actually there's a good signing coming out of that window? Or is it just now because I was saying on a previous show that it's giving now Morata, Bakayoko, Drinkwater, Emerson Palmieri, Zappacosta, you know that, and they all flopped. And I'm worried now. I honestly didn't think they'd all flop, because some of them got CVs. Like Sterling's got a serious CV behind him. Koulibaly had a CV behind him. I mean, they've all actually got CVs. Aubameyang as well, and then maybe Cucurella and Fofana less so. But I thought that we minimum get a couple of hits in there. But at the moment, as it currently stands, none of them have hit. Does anybody think that it's just a write-off the whole window, or is it someone going to emerge as a competent signing for us?
From that window, it's looking mad from that window, I'll be honest.
Because Aubameyang's gone, Koulibaly's gone, Fofana's injured for the whole season, so that's 3 down, and then it's Sterling, Cucurella left.
Those were our major signings, weren't they?
Yeah,
like those were our. Yeah.
Fofana was 80 million, Cucurella was 62, Sterling was about 50.
Yeah, it was 50.
Koulibaly and Aubameyang were a bit cheaper, so they've both gone. I'm not as bothered about that one. Those two.
Yeah, the one player that you look at and go, okay, I'm not disappointed with his actual footballing ability is Fofana.
Carney and Cassidy are the only ones. From that window, yeah.
But this is why I said in terms of major signings, because we knew those weren't major signings. Those were players that were going to eventually just make their ways into the squad eventually. But the one player was Fofana that we all looked at and went, that we look at now and go, in terms of what his ability is, like, no, we're happy. But his other problem is his injuries. Like, his body just breaks down every time he turns left or right, it seems. So that's the only problem. So the entire window now is looking like we completely misjudged it. And this is why I stress, like, we have to learn, or well, not us. We've been here a while. But the new owners, in terms of being owners of the club, have to learn from that window. And so far, it looks like they have been doing that. And I got to give credit. I hope that we end up getting exactly what we need and the strategy is in place and all of that. Because back then, that's the problem. There was no strategy. It was just, and people's criticism of us of just splashing cash was actually correct in the end. We were happy, we were gassed, but it's actually correct. We were spending wrong. And I think now we're starting to realize that maybe every single signing was wrong. So, Sterling is definitely the latest on that list, 100%.
People are pulling in 2 different directions and it's actually very similar to like Conte and Spurs. Conte wants proven winners. He wants players that are going to hit the ground running immediately, experienced, because he wants to win now. Tuchel's probably in the same mold. Wasn't really interested in Colwell, wasn't really interested in Maatsen, wasn't really interested in Gilmore, wasn't really interested in any of those guys. And the club, though, they're trying to sign Cassidy's and Carney's and they want to do that. So, but then they're still giving him what he wants in a way to kind of like, kind of back him with Aubameyang. So just two people just pulling very, very much in opposite directions and then ending with nothing, really, which is exactly what happened with Tottenham and Conte. This is why everybody needs to be aligned. Everybody needs to be of the same, thought process. If not, then problems are going to arise. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. That window is looking spooky now. I can't lie. It's looking spooky because when you take a look at the wingers, Sterling, we was talking about it on last time I was live, but Sterling started football at 17. So Sterling's 28, 29 years old is not everybody else's 28, 29 years old. Sterling's 28, 29 years old is probably Sterling's 32, 33 years old.
It's Saudi time. It's Saudi time.
Because he started.
What do you mean he started at 17?
He started at 17 in terms of he was in the Liverpool first team playing with Suarez and Sturridge. Starting
under
games,
Brendan Rodgers.
Yeah, week in, week out starting at 17.
Oh yeah, he was, yeah.
But most players
if anything, he got a head start.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But in the Premier League, most players don't start at 17, and most players then don't take all the hits and all the knocks and all the,
I think what Matisse is trying to say is that he's done he's done the legs, he's done the mileage.
His mileage, his mileage.
Oh yeah, I agree with that completely. I thought you were talking the other way around. I was like, where's he going with this?
Like Sterling's peak. Sterling's peak
is gone. Yeah,
like 2-3 years ago. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also when he signed, the one thing I did question was, which listen, he speaks well in presses and he's not giving me a vibe of he's taking the piss, but he's already won everything. So it's like it's a different thing for him to come into this Chelsea team that is way behind where City is. He's already completed the domestic kind of achievements he needs to complete. He hasn't won the Champions League, but apart from that, he's won everything else. So that there was always like, what's that source of like deep rooted motivation to kind of like prove yourself and prove your point? Obviously, any top athletic's going to want to play well, but those can be the 5 margins in comparison to someone maybe like a Maatsen who has got everything to prove. It's his first Premier League season. He's probably buzzing for it. Do you know what I mean? Whereas Sterling, this is rodeo number 11 or 12 or whatever it is. So I don't know. It's a difficult one.
I'm actually quite surprised by Sterling's couple of these matches in the preseason. Like he looks so out of it. Like every time the ball goes to his way on the left side, he's stuttering, he's double thinking, he's slow, his decision making is poor, he's sometimes not dribbling when he should be, and then when he is dribbling, he dribbles into people or into crowd, whereas you see players like Nicholas Jackson, he's dribbling into space. Like he's going away from the crowd, getting into space, allowing others to then attack. I don't know, man. Like Sterling, when you see him, right, you feel like, like I can see there is quality. Like I know there is quality, but he must be so scrambled in his head. Like he needs to come back to reality that, look, mate, this is a good team we have now. This is not last season where you were surrounded with a whole heap of crap and you were crap as well. Now you actually got quality in and around you. Trust them a lot more. Link up, buzz, have that intensity about you. Look, I can't see how Sterling gets sold this window. We've sold so many experienced players. I can't. No. He's not. So we are going to have to hope badly as Chelsea fans that Pochettino finds a way to reignite this player, because if this player goes missing for us, that's long. It's going to be long. That's 300k per week. As an experienced player, you don't want any of these, because you know very well if he's left out of the team for too long, you'll start hearing from experience. But I still told you guys, if you guys remember, Kieran Dyer in True Geordie, that was Sterling. That was Sterling for sure. I'll tell you straight up, that was Sterling telling Kieran Dyer about Graham Potter. So Sterling, if this continues the bad form, and I know this is on him, it's on you. So if he gets dropped and he stays dropped for a long period, then he starts to kick up a fuss, then it's bad on you. But he could be that type of a player who could start kicking up a fuss in the background. So we better hope it turns around for us, man. Like quick.
Let's go through these super chats and let's see what people are saying. I agree with Miz. Start Maatsen against Liverpool. I mean, on form, you definitely would start Maatsen. I did a projected 11 for Liverpool on Bleacher Report, and people. So this is the great thing about Bleacher Report is when you do this and you do the show, all the context is gone now when it hits Twitter because everyone's like, "Oh my god, how could you pick this guy? You fucking and I'm like, hey, this is not my team. This is not the team I would select. This is the team I'm predicting." And because Pochettino keeps talking about experience, lack of experience, he's going to drop some experience in the 11. I can't see him playing, Maatsen, Mudryk, Jackson front three, and Cuckoo, Enzo, Santos, and then backline of, even maybe Cucurella wouldn't start if he keeps playing like this and he throws Lewis Hall in there and he plays, I don't know, Colwell and he plays Chalobah and then or Silver and then he's gonna play Sterling. I just think he's definitely gonna play Sterling against Liverpool. Big game, Stamford Bridge, first game of the season. I just think he's gonna have a couple because we've barely got any experienced players as it is, so he's gonna use the ones that he has because he keeps banging on about it. So yeah, but let's see.
Although he did stress that it is about the players that show and are good enough.
That's what I want to hear. Yeah,
I agree with the experience, but I think he's referencing to the transfers to get players in with experience that he can rely on. But right now, in terms of the players that he's using at Chelsea, hence why he started the team that he did against Newcastle. I genuinely think it's building the blueprint of what he is looking to use with what he has at the moment. And that's the players that are showing form and the ones that are showing why they absolutely should play. And right now, if there's the one player who is unquestionably the worst performing player, it's Sterling. So I understand the experience point. I don't think Poch will start him against Liverpool if he continues like this.
You think you think you could see Maatsen on the right wing?
Yeah, I reckon so. If a player is ready, he's ready. And I think if he can show that form and trust him, then he probably will. So
hopefully, because it would be a bit of a slap in the face if he does go the other way. If Sterling keeps playing like this and then he does start against Liverpool, that would be a slap in the face to Maatsen. That's for sure. So yeah, let's go on. Sterling is a missed starter for Chelsea. He's on fire.
Must start.
Must. Yeah, wrong spelling. So I'm not gonna laugh at your joke. Iceman spitting facts in the chat. Jesus Christ, you've gone wrong when you start sending in super chats like that. Sterling, Cucurella, and Conor Gallagher are Chelsea's best players. Are you finished now? Arsenal fever. My goodness, this guy.
Thank you for the
super chat. Obviously,
thanks
Arsenal
for
won
the contribution.
Arsenal won 5-3 against Barcelona yesterday, so that's why he's so.
Now they're winning the league now. They're winning the league.
Because when they lost to Man United, I can assure you he wasn't. So
I was going to say,
he wasn't.
They went quiet when they lost to United, didn't they?
Apparently, that was Barcelona's first game in the preseason. Is that true?
Yeah. Xavi was angry. Xavi was not happy with the tempo.
And that was Arsenal's fourth game in the preseason.
Yeah. So, some great goals from Trossard, I think that was.
Yeah, and Arsenal still conceded 3, so
We'll see you, Arsenal fever.
Arsenal fever. Wait, Kai Havertz's gonna smash it for you guys.
Yeah.
It's gonna be class. 30 goals incoming.
I hope Arsenal, you're drawn to Barcelona in the Champions League. I really hope so. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
You know what? Barcelona are not good in the Champions League under Xavi, so I don't even hope for that.
I think they'll get better though. Under Xavi, they'll slowly get better. They can't be poor all the time.
How do we make sure Jackson doesn't get the number 9?
It's easy. Who's got the 11?
Nobody has the 11. Nobody has the 9. Nobody has the 10.
Nobody has the 10.
Nobody has the 7.
I don't think anybody has the 8. Does anyone has 8? Kovacic was 8, right?
Nobody has the 8. Yeah. But you have a
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, the most iconic numbers in football. We don't have anyone.
Oh yeah, we don't have Kante 7.
Yeah,
we don't have Kova 8.
Well. Yeah, 19's open as well, obviously.
Who's going to get
Jackson,
that?
I think Jackson.
29. If anyone wants to touch 19.
I think Jackson should get 19 in the spirit of Diego Costa when he won the ball in the corner against the 2 players and then dribbled inside, did a little step over. I'm thinking 19 or maybe. Maybe
we
11
gotta,
for
we gotta
Drogba.
go down. We got to go
Wait,
down.
I
We
was gonna
might,
say
we might
11.
have to go down the footsteps. Let's go down the correct footsteps. Yeah.
15?
Let's start him off with the 15.
Ah.
And then after one season, we give him the 11.
The 11.
Okay. I was waiting on 15. I had a feeling you was gonna come with that one.
Do you know what? I don't mind. There's no one 11 at the moment, is there?
No.
Is there an 11?
No, I was
Yeah.
going to say even the 11 is
11
fitting, very fitting.
Why not? Why not?
So what would you give in Cuckoo?
10.
10.
He wears 18, but in Leipzig and previously
did.
wore 18.
Yeah.
As
wearing
in,
18
because
at the moment?
Leipzig had a 10 already, or
I don't think so. I don't know.
Sure.
also he chooses to wear 18? Is that like sort
Yeah,
of significant
yeah.
to him?
I feel like Sterling will get the 7 as well for what he had at Man City. But what I would love for us to do is give Ian Maatsen the 7. just like they gave Cancelo when he was starting at left back. They gave
And
him...
imagine after that they sell him and then 7's open again.
So Pochettino's quotes were, because I read them out yesterday in my video. His quotes were that Ian Maatsen so far is in his plans. But he hasn't said completely like it's over and done. Like you need to still do more. So I don't know if he's still just trying to keep him pushing and motivated, because we all know Sterling's staying. Like regardless of what Sterling does, he's not going anywhere. Which is, it's a shame, but that's how it goes when you're already locked into a big contract like that. That's just the way it goes. So Maatsen still has to prove himself. So yeah, I just can't imagine a world where Angelo goes on loan to Strasbourg and Maatsen is sold because he's got 1 year left on his contract, which he does. And then we have neither of them, who have really been some of my favorite wingers in the preseason. And then we've just left with Mudryk, Madueke, Sterling, and I guess we'd have to make a signing. But I wouldn't be happy with that signing because I actually want to see either Angelo or Maatsen in the first team squad. I think, I'd rather that.
Do you know, I'm very disappointed that just because we had a predetermined plan of letting go of Angelo Gabriel to Strasbourg or whoever, plans can get changed and can be adjusted depending on the circumstance. And the circumstance right now is us as a fan base. Before the preseason games, we didn't know too much about Angelo Gabriel. We thought, okay, yeah, he's going to be one of those players that's going to go out on a loan. Many actually saw him and were saying he's already played 100 games for Santos, was it? Or
yeah.
And they're like, this is no ordinary.
Double the games of Santos, more games than Mudryk.
Yeah, and they're like, this is not ordinary kid. Like this is someone who's got a lot of experience. And then obviously we started seeing him play and how beautiful he looked technically, the way he opens his body up and opens up an array of angles. Like, can't Chelsea Football Club get to a situation and be like, do you know what? We did have plans to send him, but it makes more sense that he stays with us because he's going to be quality for us. He's going to bring us that extra bit of spice on that right side that we lack at the moment. So,
but is he going to get minutes though?
If we keep him, we
I
have
think
to
he
get,
will.
Who sits out?
If we keep him, we have to get
who starts now on the right side.
So hold on, because Madueke has to come back.
Exactly.
Angelo, if we keep Maatsen, that's 3. Mudryk 4, Sterling 5. We only need 4 wingers for 2 positions.
Mudryk will be on the left. I don't think
Mudryk will be on the left.
I'm just saying we got two winger positions. We got 5 players. I'm just putting it like
no. So hear me out. There could be injuries. Madueke is not the most fittest player that's going around. Like there's injury history around him, injury history around Sterling as well. There's off form as well, as we see Sterling at the moment. I think someone like Angelo Gabriel, there is a genuine shout for him to be ahead of Madueke now. Like Madueke, as good as we need to remember something, boys, and to the live chat. Last season was poor. So any little bit of good that we saw was amplified to the sense that, oh my God, that is it.
He's done something right.
He's unbelievable baller. I'm not taking anything away from Madueke. What he did
he hasn't like nailed down his starting level.
But I don't think he's nailed it down. Like it's not like, you know what, he's a starter 100% for just no.
But I also do believe that he's starting to get a bit underrated because he's not in the team. And my point with Madueke would be if he played against Wrexham, I'd have full confidence that he'd rip Wrexham to shreds. absolutely destroy them.
I'm not underrating Madueke at all. I'm fine with Madueke to get his opportunities, but from what I saw Madueke last season, there are some distinct weaknesses in his game. One of the key weaknesses that Madueke has is he looks so good on the ball, but you'd think he's going to be able to cut in from the right and open himself up to have shots or passes, but he tends to keep going down the byline all the time, always goes down to the byline, but then he doesn't have a right foot to deliver across. Whereas Gabriel was showing to me a lot more from that. Gabriel was able to go to the byline, dribble when there needs to be a dribble, link up. I didn't see too much of Madueke, and then again, last season, no one could link up. The entire chemistry was off. But Gabriel this season, that game against Brighton, if you guys remember, 92nd minute or 93rd minute, the way Gabriel linked up with 3 players and drifted into the opposition box, you're telling me he just picked that up in few training sessions under Pochettino? Like, come on. If this guy continues under Pochettino and continues to grow that chemistry with this team, I love seeing that short passes, give and go to open up a opposition. And to be able to do that against Brighton, that's not a small feat. Like, Brighton's very compact. They know exactly how to defend in tight spaces. I've not seen Madueke do those sort of things. But then again, new set of players.
No, I agree. I think Madueke's strength was dribbling, taking on people, going past people. That's what I saw. In terms of the pass, in terms of the weight of pass, I don't think that was his strength last season. I think Angelo showed a lot more in that regard, which is why I want Angelo to stay. I want Angelo to stay. It's just now I just don't really feel like it's going to happen. I feel like, I mean, hopefully he plays the next game. If he plays the next game, then it's back up in the air again, because he didn't. I'm just looking at, if you're getting no minutes, put it like this: Diego came on ahead of him in the last game. That's because
I think Diego didn't play against Brighton. Maybe that's why.
I'm praying that's the case, because if we don't see Angelo next game, then it's like,
then it's over.
It's done.
Yeah, the next game is going to be the indicator as to where we're heading to.
But we're also not seeing Lewis Hall for like any minutes as well in the last game. So again, that leads me to believe that those two, who are pretty good, they're good players, but it tells me that they're probably going to get loaned. It just feels like the stars are aligning on that point, which is a shame. I don't know, with the wing spot. Mudryk, I agree, is just a shoe-in to only play left. I don't want to see really Mudryk on the right, and then everybody else is up for debate. Baba, what do you think about the wingers at the moment in terms of Angelo? Are you cool with Angelo going to Strasbourg on loan?
Yeah, I get it why he's going on loan, because we already have Sterling, we have Madueke, Mudryk, and we are looking to get in one more player. So he automatically goes down that pecking order. But I know why all of us are discussing that, because he has impressed us. He has been better than Sterling, no doubt about it. So we were looking at him to get some few minutes. But I don't want a squad to be bloated again. Wouldn't want the young players to, be stranded on the bench if we are looking to give these players the chance to develop that chemistry, develop that that bond, that team spirit. So it's fair that these young players like Moreira, Angelo, they go out on a loan, get that experience, get the regular playing time, and then maybe we can look at them in the next season. And if, for example, we are not able to cut it with players like Madueke or Sterling this season, so we can look at those players who can come into the team and maybe build on from there. And the same thing goes for the midfield also. If we were to get Caicedo or another defensive midfielder, what happens to one of the two between Santos and Caicedo?
I think it's between Caicedo and Carney.
Carney, I see him
I'm keeping
more of
Caicedo and Santos
as a advanced
Santos
player.
can't move.
So what happens to those players if we were to get another DM?
At the end of the show, what we're gonna do is we're gonna put together a 25-man max squad, and that's including signings. And we're gonna have
even the ones that might come in.
Yeah. Or the ones that you want to come in, because Pochettino doesn't want any more than 25 players, which is why we can't have 5 winners.
And he's right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
he's
right.
absolutely right.
So,
and this whole thing about the right wing is another point to make. Drogba was completely spot on. What happens if we bring in Kudus or we bring in Olise? Or if we were to actually get one of them, that's another player added on. It gets too stacked. So yeah,
this is why I want a 10.
Got to be realistic.
This is why I prefer Kudus to Elise, because Elise I've only seen him play right wing at Palace or right centre midfield in a 3. I've not seen him play in the 10 much. Whereas Kudus, I know, can play in the 10. Looks like he could potentially play up front as a false 9, and he can play right, and he can play potentially even a bit deeper. But forget deeper for a second, because we don't really need him to. He can play in the other 3 positions. So,
and the thing is,
if we're keeping Gallagher, who do we even?
I completely forgot about Gallagher.
This is the thing,
I completely forgot about.
Let me go through these super chats. We're gonna put together our squad, because if Poch wants to keep Gallagher, which he does, there's an argument to be made that we can't buy a backup 10. But I'm gonna get to that in a minute. And you know, people ain't gonna like it, but it's unfortunately, when you go through the numbers, it's not looking good. Instead of buying Caicedo, we can put Reece James next to Enzo and start Gusto at right back. Big up from Australia. Where's that in Australia, miss?
It's another state. It's south of Australia.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
South Australia.
Big up, brother. I'm not for this personally. And Reece James is already struggling with the workload of a right back because he needs to be looked after. Put him in midfield, where I don't know if anybody saw the Tielemans camera kind of thing stuck to his chest, and he was running around in pre-season against Fulham. But that opened my eyes to just how much work a midfielder especially has to go through. Because when you're at fullback, if the play's on the other side, you just got to just track your runner, and you know, obviously it's still intense, but it's the play's not on your side.
And it won't solve the problem. It won't solve the problem. If you put Reece James as the midfielder, eventually you'll have to buy a right back again. Yeah. Any which way you'll get to get a player.
Yeah, exactly.
So how does that solve the problem?
No, it doesn't solve the problem. It doesn't.
With Gusto, we have to remember the aim as to why we brought him in the first place. We got Gusto in to provide cover to Reece James, not to be the main right back, not to be starting every single game.
And if you don't get a DM, you'll end up with 3 right backs.
Yeah,
Gusto,
exactly.
Reece James, and the right back that you will get for a cover.
Yeah.
People haven't seen this, I'm guessing, so I'm just going to have it on. But yeah, Reece James in midfield for me, for a player we're meant to be looking after, I just don't want to see him. I don't want to see that. I'm not going to lie. He needs to stay at right back, compete with Gusto. We need to sign a midfielder. Like, this is a position that, especially next to Enzo, you've got to be able to cover serious ground. Mobility-wise, you've got to be able to get around. I
truly believe it's so underrated, and it's so intense to play in midfield, especially as a DM. It's not as easy as it looks, or people think it's the lazy role. No, on the contrary, it's the one that requires the most endurance, and people will be shocked to hear that if they don't know already. But when you play on the wing, it's bursts of intensity, it's moments, right? You're bombing up and down, it's speed and it's acceleration. But with this, you're not stopping for 90 minutes. There is no rest in this role because you are the engine. So you take the engine out of a car, what happens? The whole thing stops. You need to constantly be moving to every single area of that central midfield. And it means you're moving. You're not stopping. That's why you see the mileage that's covered in these games. And you find central midfielders cover that 12, 13, 14 kilometer mark every single game, even though it doesn't look like they're doing much running, but they're constantly moving. So the endurance is ridiculous. It's not easy. Reece James would struggle in terms of his injuries. I don't think he'd struggle in terms of what he's capable of, but his body will probably break down.
Yeah. Chelsea need to move on from Caicedo. F. Brighton says Arsenal fever. We're going to get to that. I know Miz has had more than enough of this Brighton back and forth bidding war that's going on. I agree with Miz. Start Maatsen against Liverpool. We went through that one already. Much appreciated. Florentino Luis from Benfica might be better. We're going to, at some point, have to go through alternatives for midfield to Caicedo, but I'm going to do that in a video. I'll go through everybody at that point. But yeah, I still believe Caicedo is one of the best, if not the best, on the market currently. And people that talk about Tchouameni, we already kind of debunked that in the last show. That's just not a viable option.
I don't know where that's coming from, bro. Honestly,
yeah, it's a dream. It's a pipe dream. It's just
It's
not
a
gonna
FIFA
happen.
transfer. It's a FIFA transfer.
We need players, but Poch said he wants 24 players. So he said 23, 24, 25. I think that was kind of like the ballpark that he's aiming for at a max. I agree with Mal. We have to overpay for Caicedo as he's the best option, but Brighton will pay for these dirty games. No loan. They will play these dirty games. No loan, buy, sell to them ever again. The reason why I'm even more pushed on Caicedo was when I was looking at Lavia and I was looking at who seems to be an alternative, even though I don't think Lavia is going to happen because I think Lavia is going to go Liverpool. When I was looking at Caicedo and I was looking at Lavia, when you look at Lavia's in terms of two things, tackling, his percentage of tackles for, dribblers that kind of take him on, it's really, really quite worrying. And also headers won is quite low as well in comparison to Caicedo, who is really good in these two departments. So when people are running at the player, what is the percentage of you stopping them? And obviously headers won. And then you look at Enzo and what he's poor at. Those are the two things that Enzo is probably the worst at, is when people are running at him and when he's going up, obviously for headers, he's not going to be the best. We need someone who complements Enzo the best. And defensively, I think Caicedo is just better than Lavia. Like at this current moment on the ball, I think Lavia is really good, but I think just defensively right now, we know Caicedo what he's going to give us. Whereas with Lavia, it's a little bit more of a risk as in terms of that partnership. Like in terms of Lavia, we don't even know really if he's a DM yet. Like we don't even know if he's a DM. He might become an 8. Like he could be quite a few, because he played in the 2 of Ward-Prowse. He might be any type of midfielder really. He's just a very good player. Whereas Caicedo, you could definitely say defensively, this guy was playing at right back to try and lock up Martinelli at the Emirates. Like
I'll be right back, by the way.
That's his thing. So yeah, I would just feel safer just overpaying at this point for Caicedo and moving on. But I don't know. People will disagree because it is a lot of money. Connor's better than Caicedo. You don't need him. Oh, Arsenal fever. I beg of you. I beg of you. Stop with this foolishness, brother. Do you know what? Yeah, you're gonna make me clap back. I'm not gonna lie to you. You're gonna make me clap back. I'm gonna have to start infiltrating the Arsenal channels. That when you want to just hear proper Arsenal chat, I'm gonna go in there and start saying wild shit. I'm gonna start saying El Neni over party and all types of craziness. I'll be there. Appreciate the super chat, brother. He's back again. Kudus will not downgrade to Chelsea, in my opinion. No hate. I think Arsenal were interested in him, but I haven't seen you guys make a move on him. So yeah. And also I just want to say Kudus, I think, has been missing training, hasn't he, recently?
Yeah, injury. They're saying it's injury. Yeah.
So we're looking at him, who's injured and has an injury record. Elise is injured currently as well. We're looking at him. Lord heavens, we love our injured players, don't we? If Sterling's performance is not related to the mental aspect of his game during the World Cup, there was an armed burglary at his home. People forget. Yeah, for sure. But is that the reason? I don't know. You can't say, but.
That was a while back.
That was a while back. I wouldn't tie those two together personally.
I can understand immediately after that in the World Cup. I can understand. No. Like we're talking about 9 months, 8 months after. Like
yeah, I don't think
you got to move on after a while and live life again.
I don't think that would be the reason for me. Forsberg was a 10 at Leipzig. Says, oh yeah, so that's why Nkuku didn't have it. Says Kingsley. Arteta wants Hall already. He's got star quality. Where have you heard that, Ash? And you guys have already got Zinchenko. I guess maybe you got Tierney as well. So unless you're talking about centre midfield, Iceman needs to be on the panel. Heck no. And in fact, I've actually already invited him to be on the panel before, and he's just gone missing when I've asked. Not on this panel, but just in general when I was going back and forth when I was on the solo. Chelsea are looking great so far. Jackson looks a beast. Thanks for the heads up on him, Younes. But I've never seen that much over exaggeration on preseason. Folks need to calm down. Jesus Christ. Jackson is the best thing since sliced bread. Okay. All right. That finish was beautiful. We are starved at Chelsea. We don't have strikers that finish 1v1. So of course we're going to be extra excited. Starved. Anyone who looks like a competent striker over here gets a statue. I don't think you realize the pain and trauma we've been going through over the last few years. we've had Havertz up front. That's what we've had. Lukaku, we've had Aubameyang, we've had Morata, we've had all these guys, and now we're playing within our Higuain. Now we're playing Pato. Oh Lord! Now you're just triggering
Falcao, yeah.
And now we're playing within our price range, and this price range for us is a sweet spot. So that's why we're excited about Jackson, is because the maths is mathing. We wouldn't be in this position had we not chose Saul over Tchouameni. And by the way, Luis had €100 million release clause. Yeah, that's Saul over Tchouameni is probably one of the worst decisions I've ever seen from a football institution and board. But hey, here you are. Let's wrap up the show with. Yeah, it's a Chelsea thing for sure, 100%.
I want to say very quick on Jackson. I don't know if you guys saw the clip. Did you see? Was it after he scored? I think it was after he scored, and he came back to the center line.
It's gone
and
viral.
He turned to Maatsen saying, "Trust me more."
No, he goes, Maatsen. Trust me more. Wow, this guy gives me
confidence he has is
beautiful. Oh, it's beautiful.
This guy's something
beautiful.
Else, and the stuff that the way he talks as well, a post match in the interview is like, I'm feeling good. It's a great environment. I'm loving the people around me, and that's why I play good. So,
he said his best friend's Cucurella as well, and he said he's got a good relationship already with Madrid.
Yeah, I heard. Yes, I've heard that before. We paid a huge sum of money for a striker who said, "I'm back. I'm better. This is my childhood club."
You are
I have relationship with the players.
But Jackson is nothing like him. Okay, he is nothing like him. He would never do that to us.
He who must not be named. He who must not be named.
Jackson is not like Lukaku. He would never do that to us. Okay, he's different. He's different, Baba. All right, he's different. He's not like
PTSD.
him.
PTSD, bro. PTSD. Can't help it.
He's not like the other ones.
I am just prepared for the worst. In the back of my mind, I'm just prepared for the worst. If something was to go down in the second half of the season, I would be like, yeah, I've seen this before. No big deal.
If that happens, I'm actually done. I can't lie.
Who do we play in January, by the way? I'm just having a look because, it's a good point to note that he will be going off for the AFCON.
Oh, shit.
But, crap, we play Liverpool at the end of Jan. When does the AFCON run?
Well, who does he play for Senegal?
He plays for Senegal.
And Senegal will go far, let me just say.
Because they're a very good team.
They are. They won the last one.
They're the champions.
Are they good? Can they lose? Mendy,
Koulibaly, Mane.
Yeah. But then again, a lot of those guys are coming towards the end of their career. Maybe they'll have a little bit of a drop-off. Mane, Koulibaly's gone Saudi, not playing at a high level. Maybe
how desperately we want Senegal to do bad.
I need a shot 30 exit for Senegal. I'm not gonna lie.
See, if we want Kudus as well, which I think a lot of us probably want as that, he's another player. Yeah.
Well, then in January we must suffer. We're just gonna have a good form up until that point. Do you remember when Drogba had that crazy best season of his Chelsea career, and he still had AFCON in the middle of it? That man was a freak, man. Man caught malaria, and 5 minutes later he said, "Don't worry about it, it's gone."
It got scared.
The malaria got scared.
The malaria got into my body and said, "Oh my God, I'm out of here."
That was actually ridiculous. The Sky Sports put out that tweet, didn't they? Drogba's got malaria. 5 minutes later, Drogba recovered from his malaria.
Mad. Oh God! All right, so I mean, listen, Jackson's finish was wonderful, man. It's just nice to see. It's nice to see, and he had other parts of his game as always that continue to impress, like the hold up. But let's go through this. Let's go through this squad and let's see if we can come together as a 25-man squad max, including signings. So in goal we have Kepa, Arisa Labalagra. He's not going anywhere. Poch likes him. So he's staying. So that's one. Who wants to keep track of how many numbers we got as well? Because otherwise we're going to go and get mad confused. Let me see if I can have someone
I've got a calculator open.
Yeah. Whoever wants to keep track. Younes can keep track of the numbers. Then we have Bettinelli. He's going to be 2. All right. He's not going anywhere.
Yep.
Where is Bettinelli in this preseason? I'm not
on the bench.
I've not even seen him on the bench. Is he actually on the bench? I've not even seen
I don't
him.
even know if he is because we've had Cumming,
And Bergstrom.
And Eddie Beach, haven't we?
And
Eddie Beach.
Slolina. I've not seen Bertinelli.
Slolina's
It's
now
true,
back, isn't he? Yeah.
But I think Bettinelli is the default number 2.
Well, at
That
least
we're
Wherever
going to
he-
put as
or
number
where-
2.
or he's
Wherever
the
he is in
He
the
could be in a
world.
pub right now, and he's number 2. So
You're number 2.
Oh, apparently he might be injured. Okay, so are we all happy to keep him anyway? Yeah, as a third choice. Yeah. Fucking, yeah, man.
Who for third choice?
Bettinelli.
So who's second choice?
Well, that's what we got to discuss because we want a new goalkeeper, right?
Gaga?
we want a new goalkeeper, but apparently we're okay with actually not bringing anyone in. According
I don't
to today,
think we are getting a new goalkeeper.
Okay, but
That's the
what
thing.
this is about what you want. Don't worry about what kind of crackhead nonsense. these lot
Kepa,
are.
Gaga, and Bettinelli.
Oh
will be
well,
a
then I
three
want
keepers.
Mike Mannion.
Oh,
It's about realistic.
It has to be realistic because
No, but
Well, then,
we got
then
let's,
Bettinelli.
they've already said that. We can't
let's be
afford-
real. In terms of the squad, because we're talking squad number, there's 2 keepers. Regardless of who it is, there's 2 keepers, so it's 2, isn't it?
No, it's always three goalkeepers that you submit to the Premier League usually. Because if one
Okay.
gets
Is it
injured, then you
three?
need another one on the
Yeah,
bench.
Three. Yeah.
you need 3.
It is 3.
So 3 goalkeepers.
Are we all in? We haven't even
Regardless of who
seen.
they are.
We haven't even seen Solina yet because he
Solina.
could be brilliant, right? He could be the next Courtois. We wouldn't even know about it.
Put him
then
as number 2. Put him as number 2.
Would you put him as number 2, or would you
Yeah.
get like?
We're not going to buy a goalkeeper, so we'll go with
Slonina and
realistic.
Bettinelli.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so that's our. Let's just
that.
say that's our 3. If something changes, then we input someone. But in terms of numbers, that's the 3. So Beach, Bergstrom, Cumming, all these guys back to the under 21s. You go. So then we have. So that's
All
3.
those
So
guys.
you got down the calculator, Younes. You all good? We
I'm on 3.
All right, we're on 3. This is where it gets problematic. As soon as we get out onto the pitch. So we have Badiashile stays. Thiago Silva stays. Trevor Chalobah, for argument's sake, at the moment stays. If not, Mark Gurhey looks like he's coming in. So the same.
I just find that mad, to be honest.
Yeah.
The argument makes sense in the what you were saying the other day, Matisse, in terms of metrics, but it don't make sense from a money wise, and Chalobah being potentially the 4th choice. So
Yeah.
for me, Chalobah stays.
All right. So let's see. So that's Badiashile, Silva, Chalobah. So that's now up to
Colwell.
6. So now I'm just going on the website. So we've got Colwell. Yeah.
Stays.
We got Fofana.
Do we put Fofana as part of the squad?
Fofana is part of the squad.
Oh,
No, but do
is
we
he out
put
for
him
the
as part of the
season?
squad? He's out for the season. Do we even bother?
Well, how does it work, Younes? If someone can we say he is actually out of the season?
Is he out for the whole season, or could he be back in March?
Apparently, he might make it for the very end.
Yeah, that's what I heard. But what's the point?
What's
right?
the
What's the
point?
point?
So this is the thing. In January, you could resubmit a different list because
You
the
can.
transfer window opens. So let's just say up until January, he's not going to be in the list because he's going to be injured. However,
100%.
if you then take him out of the list and then how do you get him back
Bring
in
him
the
back
list?
in, then someone's
Yeah.
got to be kicked out.
Yeah,
isn't
someone's
it?
got to get
So-
kicked out. So
Humphreys, I'd take Humphreys in, I say, for the time being, as the
would you be
5th
happy
choice.
with a Silva, Badiashile, Colwell, Chalobah, Humphreys defense?
I see no reason not to be happy about that.
Hmm.
Because for me, Colwell and Silva are going to be the predominant starters 1 game a week. So if Silva can't recover 1 game a week, that's mad. So for me, it's 1 game a week. And if Silva gets an injury, I think Badiashile, who should be back training in a couple of weeks' time, and then by the time he's ready, hopefully Silva doesn't get injured and whatnot.
I'm getting mixed because I've not watched Badiashile at right side centre back because that was in their youth days at Monaco apparently. Now, if we tuck in Augusto and it becomes a 3 and Chilwell's bombing forward, then he immediately becomes the middle centre back, and I'm okay. I'm fine with that because then you've got Colwell on the left, Badiashile in the middle, and say Gusto's tucking in on the right or James is tucking in. So that's a 3-man back line, and you've got Chilwell as a wing back, and then whatever happens on the right hand side wing back as well. We saw Angelo there against Brighton. But if you're using Badiashile as a right side centre back in a 4, and Gusto's bombing forward, and you're asking Badiashile to come and stretch, you ask the centre backs to split. Now you're asking a left footer to split on the right, and his passing lanes are completely different, and his reading of the game and his just everything is different. So that for me is a worry. I wouldn't I'm not comfortable with him on the right yet because I've not seen it as in a 4. So that's my problem with that. To be honest, Humphreys is apparently both-footed. We've only seen him on the left so far.
Yeah. One point to make about Humphreys as well is that shout out to the chat. He is an under 21 player, so we don't actually need to put him in the squad. We can always call him up.
Yes. So he won't be part of that 25. He can
doesn't
be
need to be part of
He
the
doesn't
squad,
need
no.
to be. Yeah.
Someone in the chat called me a bum. I timed you out. Now I'm gonna let you come back, but I don't know, man. Like I don't really feel like it's necessary for me to be reading that I'm a bum in the chat. I might just get rid of you. I just got a lot of people in the chat that I like, so I just prefer to get rid of you so I can see what I like and just not get called a bum. When you come back, just be aware of that. All right, you might
behave when you come back. Behave. That's what Matisse is saying.
It's not that I'm particularly triggered. It's just I just don't want to waste any space. We got some nice people in there, so it's just may as well get rid of you, innit? So anyway, it makes sense. I'm just thinking about it logically. What's the point? So okay, so we got Badiashile, Silva, Chalobah. That's 6 players. Colwell makes it 7. And you guys are saying
do we
Humphreys
put
instead of
Fofana in there?
So let's say we'll take.
I say no.
We don't need to put Humphreys in.
We don't need to put Humphreys in.
He's an under 21.
I know.
You can always just call him in.
But okay, so I guess we're doing this on the basis that Poch is training these players, and he only wants to have 25 max players in his face. Okay. Not really the Premier League kind of submission. More so, Pochettino says in terms of what I want to work with in the first team on training, 25 max. So if Humphreys is in the first team, he's involved in the number for me because Poch has to talk to him and learn his name. And
Give him.
He has to ask him what his family are saying, and that's exhausting. So he's going down in the list. So let's take Fofana out, put Humphreys in because Fofana's going to be chatting to the medical team anyway, so he's not going to chat to Poch for ages. So I guess that's not a headache.
5 centre backs.
So where are we up to now? What number are we on?
We're on 8.
8.
Okay, so let's go Chilwell, James, Cucurella. That's 3.
Chilwell, James, Cucurella.
Gusto.
Maatsen, Gusto.
And Gusto.
Maatsen
in the mix.
If we're talking defenders,
he's really a left back.
I'm gonna leave him. He is a left back. I'll mention him after. I'll mention him next. So where are we up to now?
So are we doing Chilwell, James, Cucurella, Gusto?
Yeah.
Just those 4.
Just those 4.
12. That's 12.
I want 12.
Okay. So this is 12 with no Fofana and Humphreys in until January. And then if Fofana's ahead of schedule and Humphreys isn't played much, then he can go on loan and Fofana can come back in. So that's not the problem. Now we go Maatsen.
Are you midfield or are we going wingers?
I'm just going with him because he's on the Chelsea website. I don't want to skip him, but
that's what I'm on.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's
so
both.
Maatsen, we'll add him 13.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now
this is where it gets ticky. So yeah, Malang Sarr's gone. That's just that brother. Listen, I don't even know how he's still on.
He's still a Chelsea player. Wow.
Now, this is where it gets techie. Lewis Hall,
loan.
So he's not in.
Loan, yeah.
Pain, but yeah. If Cucurella is in, then if Cucurella and Chilwell is in, Lewis Hall can't really be in unless he plays midfield.
Look, the way we got to look at it is he needs to start every week, and then next season he will put his hand up to be the guy.
Okay. All right, so he's gone. This is where it gets techie. So we have Enzo, he's in.
Yeah.
Gallagher, I guess he's in. We had an opportunity to cash in. We didn't.
I sell him. I would
sell him as well. But there's West Ham have walked away from the deal.
I would still sell him if we get Caicedo, and we need to get Caicedo. I sell him.
I'd sell him as well.
And I'm keeping Santos and Caicedo.
Is everybody here happy to sell Gallagher?
Yes.
All right, well, let's sell him then. Fuck it.
I'm undecided. But yeah, majority says.
Majority. Okay.
I don't mind him staying, but if we had the choice, then yes. If we get quality in, I'd sell Gallagher.
I wouldn't mind him being just depth as long as he's not starting.
Squad player.
But for me, the money's too good. I would sell him for the 42 plus 5 add-ons that West Ham offered. And also, I don't want him playing in the 2 And if I'm getting a backup 10, which I am, then he's third choice 10. So he's now third choice 10, and I don't want him in the 2. In my world.
I agree.
So
and I want to be in your world.
I want you to be in my world as well. You in the chat? I mean, let me run a poll.
My world, bro.
Let me run a poll. Do you want to be in my world, or I don't know? I'm gonna call it the Poch world, because that's what he wants. He wants to have Gallagher as the backup 10, and he wants to not really, I guess, get a new 10. You can't have both. I'm running the poll. This is the second thing I probably disagree with Poch, but I can also understand why Poch likes Gallagher. So I'm not as like firm on that as I am with the goalkeeper. For me, the goalkeeper, you will learn the hard way with Kepa. Like genuinely, you will have to learn the hard way, because that's just you walking into the fire. So good luck. But in terms of Gallagher, listen, I would just prefer a different 10. But his performance when he came off the bench against Newcastle was good. I remember saying it when I went on to Miz's channel. Like, he was good. Like, he was actually probably the only one that kept me awake. He took a couple good shots. He won the ball high up the pitch. But
that through ball for Nkunku was nice.
Yeah,
ball.
So it's not me coming around to Gallagher, because I don't think that's possible. But if he's going to play, he has to play as the backup 10 to Nkunku. That's the only position he can play. Now, if we come up against a low block and nobody's trying to play out from the back and you can't press them in that way because they're just lobbing it over the press. And now we have 75% possession and then Nkunku's injured and Gallagher's our 10. Hey, that's not my problem, because I didn't vouch for that, because I know how that goes. You don't play through this guy and he ain't going to create shit. But, you know, that's not my problem, because I already warned us on that one. So listen, if we're playing a certain way, maybe he can work. But if certain challenges come and he's not that type of player for us, then we're gonna have to learn the hard way again. So we're selling him, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Because we're bringing in Caicedo, hopefully.
So Caicedo is in. So let's add him in.
So we've got Enzo and Caicedo.
Yeah.
Then
we have
Cassidy, Santos.
So yeah, let's start with Carney and Cassidy.
Carney stays, doesn't he?
Yeah, I want him to stay, but
does he? Does he stay?
He hasn't. He's had a bits and pieces moments so far in the preseason. He got an assist, looked good here and there, but then there were other areas where he didn't look good. I want him to stay. I truly believe in this player.
He's Nkunku's backup.
So
you know what? If we get Kudus,
which one? Because Carney and Cassidy have both played as kind of deeper midfielders at times. Like, they've both shown that they can maybe be the most advanced player in the 2. So Enzo's position, but you can only have one, because you've got Santos. I'm guessing we're going to keep Santos, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So let's add Santos to the list. So we got Santos and
he's in.
Yeah. So let's add Santos to the list. We got Santos and Caicedo for the defensive-minded midfielders. We have Enzo, who's definitely the more advanced in the 2, because he's getting skip past. Yep. And then it's Carney or Cassidy for the final spot behind Enzo, because you don't need 5. I mean, numbers-wise, maybe we'll have a space later, but we're trying to keep numbers down.
It's Cassidy for me because of the better preseason.
What about you, Younes?
I want to say Cassidy.
Okay.
I love the way he plays. Just his overall vibe is class.
What about you, Baba?
Raw. There's things to improve on, but
there is for both of them. For both of them,
for both.
Cassidy, I mean, he has been the most impressive player of the lot so far. As Younes said, there are some things to work on, but yeah, for me, Cassidy too.
It's tough for me to pick, man.
It's tough.
I can't lie. I'm pretty 50.
I like Carney a lot as well.
I like Carney, man. I like Carney.
And if we're talking as an actual 10, right? If we're talking as a proper attacking midfielder, that's more Carney.
Yeah, but then Cassidy can give you aerial dominance.
Cassidy can advance. He can go on the edge of the box. He can play more box to box.
And his passing, I'm so surprised by his passing.
Passing is crazy, and he can shoot.
So surprised by his passing.
And when it comes down to the aerial presence as well, it's Carney on 100K.
What?
Carney is on 100K.
He's on 100K. No way.
Is he?
What has he done? What
How
has he
did
done?
you do
How do you do that?
We just bought. How did he do
No,
that?
I'm not even
How
like
did he do
love
that?
Carney,
Right,
but
fair
how
play
is
to
he?
the brother.
I'm
How's he
just- no,
done that?
because-
How's he pulled that
No,
off?
okay, so the reason why I checked is not random. Someone in the chat said that he's on 100k. I'm seeing Badia Shills on 90k. I'm seeing Mudrik's on 100k. I'm not understanding how this happened.
Mudrik's on 97 or something like that. I
I'm,
remember.
I'm trying to. What did we do last summer? What was wrong with us? Is there something wrong with us? He was on nothing at Aston Villa, I swear. 50 max.
Less. He was a
Yeah,
youth
peanuts. He was playing with the under 21. So
Yeah, he was a youth player.
Have we got
How much is Enzo on?
He's not on too
he's
much.
on like 105 or like
Yeah, he's
120.
not on too much.
Max 120.
Yeah.
Because
But you know-
somewhere I read he was on 97. Somewhere I read he was on 315.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
No,
loads
the
of
315 is
there's
BS.
he's not on 315. Like Enzo's wages online is all over the shop, but he's actually, from what I'm told, he's on like 120 max.
I read a while back in the Athletic that he was not too much more than Mudryk. So if Mudryk,
Because remember, he was at River Plate and then he came to Benfica and then we got him in January. He'd only been at Benfica for 6 months.
and at Benfica he was on peanuts.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
so we've not. You know how people talk about we double his wages or he triple.
Yeah.
No, we actually times 10 or times 15 his wages. So
It's like Caicedo coming from South America to Brighton. He was on like 5,000, then 15. So like Benfica wouldn't put him on a high wage. So we wouldn't take, put it like this, we wouldn't take someone that's on like 15k a week. Say he's on 15k a week at Benfica. We wouldn't put him on 315. You know what I'm saying? It's just not gonna happen.
like for instance, Ugarte, apparently he was at Sporting Lisbon at only close to €1 million a year. Like it wasn't that much. So
what do we-
similarly, it's same thing
What do
with-
we do here then? What do we do?
Where are we? Where are we up to now?
we got to choose between Chuka and
Damn, these guys said
and
they
Cassidy.
some people. I'm just going off
It's
the poll,
Cassidy,
right?
bro.
The
It's
poll is
Cassidy.
59% Poch world, and my world is 41%. So I guess we're keeping Gallagher. We're not getting Kudus. All right, fair enough. Not in the game here,
Bro,
but
do
for you
some
lot,
of these people
you
understand?
guys, no. For you guys, all right, because you don't want to be in my world. You have Gallagher in the 10, and we ain't getting Kudus. Hold that, all right? Hold that. Okay, so we're keeping Cassidy, right? Is that kind of the, because I'm 50-50.
So what are we doing with Chuka?
He's got to go on loan.
It's got to go on loan, bro.
All right. So we've got Enzo, we've got Caicedo, we've got Cassidy, Santos, and
Lewis Hall's loan, Carney loan. Now we're going to.
So is that four that we've just had?
We're keeping Gallagher also.
Four midfielders.
No, we're selling Gallagher.
We sold Gallagher.
Yeah, we sold Gallagher.
The chat want to keep Gallagher, but we sold him. Okay.
Right.
The chat's probably 50% Arsenal. That's why they want to keep him.
Yeah, there's a lot of rivals influencing that poll. I've just clocked. Yeah.
So we're up to 17.
So we're 17. So let's go to the wingers. We got Mudryk.
Yeah.
Keep.
Sterling.
Reluctantly
on
still
Sterling.
keep.
Reluctantly keep. But I haven't given up on Sterling. I just need Sterling to.
Yeah, no, me neither.
Because I know what Sterling's capable of. Like I don't want to be too. I don't want to judge him just based off a couple preseason games. But I'm just saying, like, if Sterling was an alarm clock, the alarm clock is loud and it's ringing. Like, wake up. Madueke.
Do you know what?
Oh,
I'm gonna put my opinion out there. I know you're not gonna like it. The live chat's not gonna like this.
No, some of them will.
I would keep
Angelo.
Gabriel. I would keep Gabriel.
Oh damn!
I know this is not the most popular opinion out there. I know Madueke has done a little bit of time at Chelsea last season in a very tough situation. But this is a ruthless world. We live in a ruthless world, and we have to be very ruthless. And for me, Angelo Gabriel looks like someone who can give me more. And I know I haven't seen Madueke yet in the preseason, and I'm willing to see him. But you got to give it to the person that is ready to rock and roll, and that's Angelo Gabriel.
I want Angelo to stay. I can't lie. Okay, let's so we've got Mudryk, Sterling are 100% on. Let's get the 100% in. Actually, that's it. The rest of it's up for debate.
Well, Maatsen. Oh yeah, we've already put Maatsen. Okay.
Maatsen's already in, yeah. So now it's between Madueke, Angelo, and a new signing as well. So I'm just gonna say Kudus. No, because you know what the thing is with Kudus? Let me just be honest. Kudus has got an injury record and it's pissing me off, bro. I'm worried about his injury record.
Olise is also injury record as well for a youngster. Like he gets injured a lot.
I'm gonna run a poll again because this is a headache. We've got.
Is it your world again? Is it your world, my world, his world, Younes' world, Bala's world?
Nah, I'm just gonna go straight. So I'm gonna go Kudus. And when you're voting, just bear in mind, Kudus does have a bit of an injury record. Then you got Elise, and then you got Cherki. We need the people to pick as well. So that's the three options. Get your votes in: Kudus, Elise, or Cherki. Pick one. You can't have three. You can't have two. You got to get one. We need a 10 because we sold Gallagher. So who are we going with, boys? Like, what's our decision? I'll get the chat later.
The reason I am going with Kudus is not just because of Nkunku rotation as a 10, but very importantly, Jackson's rotation up front as a striker. Because I have seen Kudus play as a striker, more specifically in the Champions League last season against Liverpool. He more than capable of playing as a striker. So Kudus for me.
But if Kudus is getting injured a lot when he joins, we have to take responsibility as a cast that we fucked up. We took the risk. We took the gamble. Miz is ready to take the gamble.
Look, I mean, to be honest, all of them have their flaws. Like Olise will not be able to play as a striker. So
and he can't play. Well, he might be able to play as a 10, but we haven't seen it. And I think we haven't seen it. Right. I think
he has done before, but not at Palace.
Yeah, I think he's best on the right. And Cherki doesn't track back. Cherki doesn't move off.
Cherki, for me, look, he's an exciting player. I am quite certain Lyon will not sell him because Lyon know they're going to get 80, 90 million euros next season if he bangs. So for me, that's why.
Do you mind that off the ball he is non-existent? Does that matter to you? Like, forget Leon for a second. If you could get him, because money, I think with Leon, money still kind of could talk. It's not like Tchouaméni, like it's not completely out of the realms. Does it bother you that Cherki off the ball is just like non-existent, like literally nothing?
Poch likes player who work hard off the ball also, but it's down to the system also. He had Eriksen in his team, who was not that effective off the ball in his Spurs team. So you got to look into that, how he uses the players that he's using in his system.
Yeah, that's up to the manager as well.
It's up to the manager. Him. Yep.
Maybe Laurent Blanc isn't about that life at Lyon and just lets him do what he wants. And maybe with Poch, it's a case of, you're going to do this and this and this on top of what you can do. So he's a top talent.
I'm going to say
we have to understand. Cherki's 19. Like, are we already saying that he cannot press ever in his life?
Yeah. True. Kudus, I guess, wouldn't be playing every week. Like, he's perfect competition to sometimes start, sometimes be on the bench. I'm going to go Kudus, but I'm a bit worried. So are we going to say Kudus, or has Baba and Younes got a different player?
I'll go with Kudus.
Okay, let's add him to the list, I guess, then.
Yeah. Ideally, out of the three, I would choose Cherki.
Oh.
Ideally.
Algerian background as well.
Of course.
I wonder why Younes is choosing.
It's the French connection as well. It's the French connection with the rest of the boys.
But, I think even on the wing, I think we could be covered enough if we were to back up that attacking midfield position. So.
Okay, let me rephrase.
Yeah, but we'll go with Kudus for the sake of the stream.
I'm pretty happy with Cherki or Kudus. I'm not going to lie.
It's going to be one or the other. It won't be both. So one or the other.
Elise for me is the one that makes the least amount of sense. If we brought Cherki in, I rate all of them. But if we brought Cherki in and we brought Kudus, I wouldn't have any complaints. I'm happy with both of them. They're both ballers.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with either. But let's just add, for the sake of it, let's just say Kudus for the sake of the numbers. But Cherki could be it as well. So we can add him to the list.
So in terms of wingers, we have Mudryk, Sterling, and Kudus.
We have Kudus as well. So Madueke, Angelo.
So that's three.
Which one? Yeah, so that's three. I mean, what do we do with Madueke, Angelo? What do we do here? I think I don't know.
I think this is pretty straightforward.
It's got to be Madueke, isn't it?
Madueke will stay.
This is pretty straightforward. So we're aiming for a 25-man squad.
Max.
Actually, sorry. So I've missed out someone that I know is injured at the moment that will come back. All right. So hang on. Realistically, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 names left that we can discuss for 5 spots.
In Cuckoo, straight.
And this is pretty straightforward because I think we know who's going out on loan.
So let's put in Cuckoo and Jackson straight in.
They're in.
Yeah. So we've got
how many slots?
That's 22. 3 spots left, and all that's left is
Broja,
Gabriel, Madueke, and Moreira.
Diego's
Moreira's loan.
Moreira's going on loan
for sure.
So there we are.
So 3 goes into 3.
Yeah.
All right.
So Madueke and Gabriel get to stay.
They both get to stay.
Well, in an ideal world,
we keep everybody.
I keep both of them.
Now that's if it's a 25-man squad.
That's a 25-man squad.
If it's a 24, because Poch said 23, 22. Sorry, he said 23, 24, and 25. He said somewhere around that.
Yeah.
So if it had to be a 24, who would you get rid of?
Chop one more.
Chop one more. Just for the argument's sake.
So who did we have? Younes after Moreira. Who did we have? Who were the 3 left?
Madueke, Gabriel, and
Broja.
No, and Broja.
Yeah, Broja goes on loan.
Oh
no!
What?
Yeah, Broja goes on.
No,
you're gonna say Jackson and Kudus as your striker options?
Yeah, come on.
And in Nkunku at times.
Are you right?
Wow.
Well, at times, not always. At
that's
times.
a big call, you know. That's
because Broja's not done a preseason, so he's just coming off a huge injury.
Some people in the chat are saying it as well.
But he's got to kickstart his career again. Like, what's he going to do at Chelsea? When's he going to play? 1 game a week.
We got to put things into perspective, though. Yeah, we've lived the times without actual centre forwards, and that was horrific.
That was horrible. Yeah,
it was horrible. If something happens to Jackson and we ain't got an actual centre forward at the club, I swear I'm fuming.
but how much are we
remember
expecting from
Broja?
From not having a preseason? How much are we expecting from Broja from not having a preseason at all?
I would just
he won't be kicking off because Jackson will be here.
Yeah.
So what if God forbid Jackson's injured first game?
Well, then we've got to manage it. But Broja is still there up until when he's completely ready to be match fit.
He's still using Cuckoo.
Yeah. And then in January, when Jackson goes off to the AFCON, I'm hoping at that point, Broja is 100% and ready to go.
This is how I'm thinking, right? I think there will be games where I think Pochettino will fancy using Nkunku up front. Even though he's saying in the press conference that he's not suited, well, he's doing it because there is no other striker.
There's no one else.
I'm pretty certain Pochettino will be using on certain teams, not on every team, on certain teams, Nkunku up front with maybe a playmaker just behind him, and obviously all those wingers. But predominantly it will be Jackson 1 game a week, hoping he doesn't get injured. If you get Kudus, he's more than capable of playing up front, and then the odd chances Nkunku. So for then, it leaves no time for Armando Broja. It means it's no good for him to just stick around and just be no use. He needs to kickstart his career again, and because brothers like David Datra Fofana are going to ball out in Union Berlin. They're going to do so well. So Broja needs to go out and kick things going again for himself.
But do you think it's more likely for Broja to play and Nkunku to play in the 10, or for Angelo to play with the current wingers we have in this squad? I'm just looking at it now. I'm going to put it across the bottom of the screen for the people. That's the 25-man squad as it is. Obviously, now we're bringing it down to 24, for argument's sake. We've got 5 wingers for 2 positions in 1 game a week situations. But we have 5 subs, and thank God they brought in the 5 sub rule, because if they didn't, it would be a long day. It'd be a long day. I feel like for what Jackson does, I feel like, yes, Broja's coming back from an injury, but I feel like Broja's hold-up play and the potential for him to be a target man and knit things together for the Mudriks, for the Nkukus coming off of him, for the Maduekes or Angelos, whoever's in this, is more important to have that profile on the squad than to only have one guy that can do that. Because I don't know how Kudus does that. I know he can shoot and I know he can link up, but I don't know if he
plays
can
for Ajax, bro.
Can he hold up the ball though?
Well,
back to play.
Probably that is not something Ajax does a lot.
Yeah, and we need that. We need that. We need someone to be able to do that if Jackson gets injured. So I don't know.
If we had striker options, right? Absolutely, yeah. Sending off Breuer for a loan or whatever because he just wouldn't get the minutes. But we haven't even got European football. One game a week. Jackson goes off to AFCON. You need two strikers.
That is a big point. Jackson goes on AFCON, but we're rumored with getting Ivan Toney, aren't we, in January?
Well, I think it depends on how.
No, it depends on Jackson's performance.
It depends on Jackson.
Yeah,
and he's exceeded all of our expectations at the moment. So now he might actually turn out to be the guy.
I was a big pusher of Toney before the ban, but there's no point buying Toney if Jackson's smacking in goals.
Yeah, I agree.
Christmas, and then benching Jackson for Toney because Tony's not coming to sit on the bench. So that just doesn't, for me, it doesn't make any sense. And
I think initially he's coming in to sit on the bench because he's not going to be totally fit, is he?
No, he's not. But then Breuer's not totally fit right now since nobody. So yeah, I don't know. Other options that could be kicked out other than Breuer is Humphreys to take it down back to 4 centre backs, and also you could kick out Angelo or Madueke or you could kick out one of the wingers.
You could also logically, if we're talking about centre mid, there is the whole debate whether Santos or Caicedo. It's probably going to be Santos. Keeping both is unlikely if we're honest, but obviously we would.
We sold Gallagher, so then we Carney. we loaned Carney. We need 4. We need 4
midfielders.
I don't think we can touch the. I think do you know what? Okay, I'm going to tell you what I feel. We have to get rid of a winger because Maatsen's in this squad and Maatsen can play wing. So now we're actually up to 6 wingers.
True.
Angelo's got to go Strasbourg for me. I love Angelo, but
there we are.
We can't loan. Who are we going to loan Madueke to?
No, I agree. And to go in the context of the initial part of the thought process was Angelo was to come to Chelsea and then go on loan, have a preseason, then go to Strasbourg, and he'll play every single week out there. So he'll come back better than he is now. I reckon. I'm
saying this with it's with a heavy heart. I'm not gonna lie, that hurts. I didn't enjoy taking his name out, but it looks like a 50% split. Unless Bob has got a different idea. Would you get rid of Breuer or who would you keep out?
I would keep Breuer because we are very thin over there. I agree. I was terrified of the times when we played without the striker. So I might as well keep 2 of them. 2 recognized strikers is a good squad depth in my opinion.
So that's down to 24. And then if we had to get it down to 23 to finish off, final person to kick out. This is like X Factor. This is the 24-man squad.
Kukurea.
Yeah, do you know what?
Kukurea, kick him out and just go chill on Maatsen left back options.
Yeah, this is where we would have to start thinking about getting rid of like a Kukurea or a Sterling. Like seriously, because
would you keep Humphreys before you? Humphreys is still there, but that's for 5 centre backs. But Poch has said he wants 4 a lot.
It would be Humphreys that leaves the squad.
Yeah, it would be Humphreys then.
And then Humphreys is in the other 21s. We ever want to call him in?
Or he gets a loan as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Humphreys. Yeah.
Yeah. So Chalobah, Colwell, Badiashile, and Silva as the centre back options takes it down to 4 if you're going for a 23-man squad. All right. Well, that game was fun. I wouldn't wish to be Poch because that shit was not enjoyable. That was very difficult. I'm not gonna lie. I would not want to be Poch.
How much is Poch getting paid a year?
A lot.
Plenty
piece of pie for that.
Yeah. So you effectively have a good squad depth there. You've got 4 centre backs, you've got 4 full backs, you've got 5 wingers, you've got 2 strikers, you've got 2 10s, and you've got 4 centre midfielders in that 23-man squad. Angelo and Humphreys and who was the other guy that hold corn there? Was it Angelo, Humphreys, and was it someone else, or was it just those 2? I think it might be just those 2. And that's it. All right, well, there you are. There you are, guys. That's the team. Not easy, but yeah. And also, Kukurea is Jackson's best friend, so he has to stay. Great point.
Any other best friends out there? Let me know, and we'll keep
it's
them
so
too.
funny, right? Just to conclude, as a fan base, it was like, oh, it's going to be Mason Mount and Declan Rice. They're going to have the best friendship in Cobham. And now it's Jackson and fucking Kukurea.
And you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way.
It just goes to show, guys, you cannot predict the future whatsoever. That is hilarious. Everybody was planning these little Rice and Mount, photos, and now it's Kukurea and Jackson. Wow, what a club. Summer is free. Please get him. He is good. Listen, the backup goalkeeper option, we didn't have a name at the current moment, but if it's a Navas or it's a Summer, then they come in for the American brother, and the squad number stays the same, I guess. Havertz will be a better player than Bergkamp. You are just do you know what? You are just a terrible, terrible, terrible super chatter. And I've never said that before, but you are a terrible super chatter. You've got to stop that. You're now making Arsenal fans angry. You're going to get Kai Havertz bullied. I'm telling you, it's just, I can't believe I just read that out publicly. Kudus injuries isn't anything serious. You can look him up, and he's on 600,000. I don't think he's on 600,000
a year.
A year, you must be maybe saying.
Surely.
No, that can't even be a year. That would be robbery, surely. Is he on 600,000 a year? Maybe he is.
He could be. Ugarte was on 700,000 euros
Ajax,
per year.
that makes sense.
Yeah, he actually might be. Yeah. His wages are really cheap, apparently. It's coming up 12,308.
Wow,
this Todd Bowie will love this. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm gonna quadruple your wages. That's beautiful. That's beautiful for Todd Bowie.
And it's still gonna be just a tad less than 50,000.
Oh my god, that's crazy. Yeah. Todd Bowie would love that. All right, guys. Miz, let the people know where to find you. Great show, brilliant show.
Yeah, man, top show once again. The other side of the coin, probably just about 200 away from 26,000. So let's get there pronto. 2 pieces of content daily, one in the morning, one in the evening UK time. So tune in.
Make sure you tune in, people. Younes, let the people know where to find you, bro. It's been a pleasure. Great show. Brilliant.
Yeah, it has done. We gear up for Fulham on Sunday, so that's going to be fun. And it's a time that we can actually here in England admire. 7:45 kickoff. Lovely jubbly. So that's going to be great.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, thank God for that. But we understand the pain these guys have to go through. This is it. So Younes Talks Football, where all the latest and my thoughts on it twice a day at the moment because it's so hectic. So there's that, and then we gear up obviously for the preseason games that are coming thick and fast, and then the new season starting off really soon. So there'll be quite a lot of coverage, Chelsea and non-Chelsea, when the season kicks off. So yeah,
there you are. Baba, let the people know where to find you. It's been a pleasure. Great show, bro. Quality.
Yeah, man. Good fun. Same as always, Drogbaba. Coming up to 180k now. Just crossed 180k last night.
Mad.
So thank you so much for all the support. The road to 200k has begun. But the main
it's almost finished, mate.
Road to 300, bro.
Yeah, that's more like it.
Yeah. Road to 1 million. No, that's too far away.
Calm yourself down.
But the most important thing is to follow me on X. That is where it's going down.
X. That's where it's going down.
X is the platform that I really love.
Is it called X now?
It is now,
yeah. It is, yeah. It's still Twitter.com.
Twitter.
I've got it bookmarked on my computer, and the logo is just X. That's
No, the logo is X, but is the name X as well?
It is, although the website is still twitter.com because they'll take time to change it. I don't think can you change the website to x.com? That's a bit mad.
Yeah.
Like as in expressions.
I don't know.
Yeah. But it is X. Yeah.
Mad. Well, guys, that's the team. It was on the bottom of the screen if you didn't see it. But also, that's not the team that you would have to submit to the Premier League. We know there's some homegrown players in there and rules about under 21s. And we're not getting into all that. That's just how many faces potentially Poch wants to see on a daily basis at Cobham, right? He only wants a 23, 24, 25-man squad. So we've done a 25, 24, 23-man squad. We had to kick out a couple, unfortunately, to get it down to 23. But yeah, that's just who he wants to be working with, maybe on a day-to-day basis. He doesn't want to have a bloated squad. If it was my team, yeah, maybe there'd be a couple changes in terms of like real ruthlessness. Like I probably prefer to see Angelo right now more than Sterling, but that's just me being reactionary to the preseason. But yeah, guys, make sure you smash up the like, subscribe, and we will see you guys next time. In a bit, people. Peace.